Hi everybody, this is Roger Aladdin Daltrey and I'm back to do another video for you. Now, in case you haven't read the title of this video, you'll notice that this is a Lou Reed discography review, and when I said in my yes video that when it reached 1,000 views I'd do a discography review for that, but because there were 4 Lou Reed box sets, I decided to add all the views together to get over 1,000 views, and guess what? It did. In fact, it went over by 38 views. So this is a Lou Reed discography review. So I have the 4 box sets here. So here's the first one. Lou Reed Original Album Classics Volume 1. And you get all these albums in it. And Volume 2. These albums in it. Volume 3. This one didn't get much views because I was talking very weird in the video for this one. And then, the original album series. Very cool. So again, the video is dedicated to the same person, Lee McCarthy, whose alter ego was Lou Reed. So, I have listened to these albums so many times, and I have to say, they're all brilliant. There just isn't really a bad one. So, I'll just get them all out for you. So here we go. And I would also love your thoughts on the whole Lou Reed discography, if you can, in the comment section below. Okay, 1972 was his self-titled debut, just titled Lou Reed. There he is on the back. And my favourite song on this album would have to be I Can't Stand It, because I love the drums going doo, 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 doo. It actually kind of gives me the vibe to the song Substitute, which because when I think of the music right now, I always think of the video going like this, and then and you can see the headstock of the bass guitar in that in the video. And on this album, Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman from Yes are on this one, as I said in the video. So that's pretty cool. And as for a least favourite, it's probably Ocean. But it's still a good song. And I would give this album an 8 out of 10. A very good starting debut album. And in fact, some of these songs were basically demos in the Velvet Underground. Okay, 1972. Oh, and now we're getting better. Transformer. As I've said in the video, this is his best album, and I might still agree with that. And you know what? It still is. Because it has the fun hitters on here. Okay, and my favourite song on this is definitely Walking the Wild Side. Obviously my favourite Lou Reed song of all time. And my least favourite on this one is Wagon Wheel. Because not only was the song by Nathan Carter that Bob Dylan had written for him, but I still like this. It's a fine song. It's a fine song, Wagon Wheel. It was just never a favourite of mine. So my least favourite is Wagon Wheel, and I would give this a 10 out of 10, definitely. I also like Satellite of Love as well. Okay, 1973. Berlin. I know a lot of people thought that this was a disaster when it first came out, but you know what? I think it's a fine album. I forgot to mention in the video that Jack Bruce from Cream does the bass playing on some of these songs. And, of course, this album, and the title Berlin, is also a Barty James Harris album, which is actually not an album, it's a song. And it's my favourite song that Les Holroyd ever sang in the group. So that's pretty cool. And my favourite song on this would have to be At the Bed, because I love the music to it. This is kind of like an experimental album, yeah, if you ask me. And my least favourite on this is probably The Kids, and it's possibly my least favourite Lou Reed song of all time. But I would give this a 10 out of 10. In case some of you are aware, it's really sunny outside, so it's really hard to see the camera, because I'm kind of getting blinded by that sun. Not like blinded by the light by Bruce Springsteen, or that Manfred Mann had covered. Anyway, 1974, Sally Can't Dance. That's a little bit harsh. And it's a bit of a similar title of nowadays, Clancy Can't Dance by Buffalo Springfield. And I've listened to Buffalo Springfield loads of times, and I'm obviously a fan of them because it has Neil Young in that band. And as I said to you guys before, I'm a huge Neil Young fan. I've become one already, and I was on the road to becoming one. So here we are. This is Sally Can't Dance. And my favourite song on this is Kill Your Sons. Not because of it. I hate its title, but I love the music to it. And you can tell that Lou Reed sounds very serious in that song. Because Lou Reed is always known as this serious artist. So I thought that was actually good of him to show his humour. And for my least favourite, it's probably Ennui. I don't know how to pronounce that. It spells Ennui. And let me know in the comment section below how you pronounce it. Anyway, I would give this a 9 out of 10. Oh, sorry. I almost forgot. I would give this a 9 out of 10. Then, of course, the Metal Machine music album came out, and what's my favourite song on that? Who cares? It sucks. Anyway, 1976, Coney Island Baby. Another one of my favourite Lou Reed albums of all time. And my favourite song on this is Charlie's Girl. Because I love the melody to it. For some reason, it kind of reminds me of another song. But I'm not sure which one it is. I think it has the same kind of chord sequence as the U2 version of Bob Dylan's All on the Watchtower, which is from the Rattle and Hum album, which to me is pretty much the unique half live and half studio album. And it sounds great. And my least favourite on this is probably Nobody's Business. And I would give this a 10 out of 10. Absolutely one of my favourite Lou Reed albums of all time. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not including this live album, Rock and Roll Animal. These are strictly studio albums we are reviewing. So that's the end of Volume 1. So now we're going to go on to Volume 2. So, 1976, Rock and Roll Heart. There you go. And my favourite song on this is I Believe in Love. Now that's the one with the similar riff to the U2 version of All on the Watchtower. That comes off Rattle and Hum. And my least favourite is probably... what would be my least favourite? I think it's probably... Senselessly Cruel. And I would give this a 9 out of 10. Okay. 1978. Street Hassle. As I said, it's my favourite album cover from the bunch. And for my favourite song on this, it is probably Gimme Some Good Times. As it has a bit of the... which is pretty much a photocopy of the earlier song... Sweet Jane, which was in the Velvet Underground. And for my least favourite, it's probably Real Good Time Together. And I would give this a 10 out of 10. Okay. And 1979, At the Bells. Really good album cover. This is probably one of my favourites. And my favourite song on this is Stupid Man. And I forgot to mention in the original video, it was actually co-written by Nils Lofgren, who was in Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band. And for my least favourite, it's probably With You. Not the I Want to Boogie You, just the song With You. And I would give this a 10 out of 10. 1980s. Now we're going into the 1980s now. Growing Up in Public. There's the band. And my favourite song on this is... Ooh, there's so many. I think my favourite would probably be My Old Man. Because I love the fast tempo to it. And How Do You Speak to an Angel is a nice tune as well. Okay, and my least favourite on this is probably Standing on Ceremony. And I'll give this a 8 out of 10. Okay, so that's the end of Volume 2. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to Volume 3 now. So, next record up is 1982's The Blue Mask. Okay, and my favourite song on this is Average Guy. Because it sounds a lot like a different singer, like on the Return of the Giant Hogweed by Genesis. either Gabriel sounds like a different singer, and he also sounds a bit like Iago from. He kind of sounds like the character Iago from Aladdin. And as I said before, he's the man. Aladdin is, and obviously Iago's my favorite animal cartoon character of all time. And for my least favorite, it's probably I don't really have a least favorite on this one. They're all really good. Oh well, okay. If I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Waves of Fear. And I'd give this a 10 out of 10. God, it's really annoying me now because I have to be blocked by the sun. I wish it wasn't sunny today. But okay, we'll just go like there. Right, next record up. 1983's Legendary Hearts. Love the back cover. He does actually look like Bruce Springsteen on the back in that leather jacket. Well, I'll just put it close there so you can see. And he actually does look a bit like Howie Epstein from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. And for my favourite song on this, it is probably... Well, actually, my least favourite... My favourite song on this of all time is Don't Talk to Me About Work, because I love the music to it. A close second, though, would be Rooftop Garden. I mean, sorry, not Rooftop Garden, Home of the Brave. And for my least favourite is probably Bottoming Out. And I would give this a 10 out of 10. I know it's a bit strange that I'm picking the 80s Lou Reed albums as his best. I know when an artist becomes successful in the 60s and the 70s, they start to go downhill in the 80s. Some of you might be slapping your foreheads for that, going, "Oh man, what's he on about?" Anyway, so we're not including the live album Live in Italy. So next record up is 1984's New Sensations. There we go. And for my favourite song on this, it is I Love You, Suzanne. Doing the Things We Want To is good too. And for my least favourite, it's probably High in the City. And I would give this a 9 out of 10. Now, probably, I know some Velvet Underground fans might be very mad for me saying this, but I love this album so damn much. It could actually be my favourite Lou Reed album, Mistrial. I don't know what it is about this record. It is just so fun the whole way through. I mean, look at the back and front cover, and I'm telling you, there are no bad tracks on here. My favourite song on this is the title song, Mistrial, because I just love the music to it. Don't Hurt a Woman is nice too, and it's very, to me, it's kind of the ballad of the album. And loads of other good ones too. And again, I don't have a least favourite on here. And this is a definite 10 out of 10. Absolutely nothing bad said about this record. Fantastic. So that's the end of Volume 3, and now we get the final Lou Reed box set, which is the original album series. So, 1989, New York. There's the back cover. And my favourite song on this would have to be Halloween Parade, because I love Lou Reed's poetic speaking on that. And my least favourite is probably Dime Store Mystery. And I would give this a 10 out of 10. Consider it as a comeback for him. Then, of course, we won't be talking about songs to dread up, but I'll just tell you what I like on here. I obviously love Open House. So we'll just put that there. I know it's with John Cale. And, okay, next record up. 1992, Magic and Loss. Now we're getting bigger. Now we're actually getting better. Considered as his last awesome album. And my favourite song on this, of course, is Warrior King. And I don't know what my least favourite is. I think my least favourite is probably either Dreaming or Magician, but I'm probably going to go with Dreaming. And I give this a 10 out of 10. We are almost done. 1996, Set the Twilight Reeling. Oh, I'm just going there so you can get a good view of it. Okay. And my favourite song on this is Sex with Your Parents. Sorry, it's very explicit, but it's not because of its title. I love the music to it. I love the sound of the drums and the bass playing on it. Kind of similar to the Queen song Another One Bites the Dust, which was written by John Deacon, the bass player. And for my least favourite, it's probably I'm going to go with Riptide. And I'd give this whole album a 7 out of 10. This is when Louis was kind of losing me a little bit. And least but not last, 2000, Ecstasy Ecstasy. Okay, and my favourite song on this is Paranoia Key of E, with a close second being Tatters. And for my least favourite, it is probably Rouge, Ruge. Okay. And I would give this album, it's a 7 out of 10. So there you go, that is my partial Lou Reed discography review. I hope you've all enjoyed it. I know now when, I'm going to soon count up the views of my Rod Stewart unboxing videos, and then when they reach up to 1,000 views, I'm going to, when they reach 1,000 views altogether, I'll do my discography review for him. And then the same with Marvin Gaye as well. And maybe a few other ones. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.